Welcome to week 3 on resilience. But firstly, let's look at what resilience is before we start looking at strategies to help you become more resilient. Resilience is simply the property of a material that enables it to resume its original shape or position after being bent, stretched, or compressed. Elasticity. So you might be sitting there going, you were ready for battle. This thing had been won in your mind. You were like, bring it on. The war had already been won, but now you're like, what the freak just happened? 3 weeks in and things haven't gone to plan. But there is hope, so you mustn't lose hope. We want to just get through this, but what you need is some padding. We need to beef you up a bit, give you a helmet, give you some padding so that you can conquer. Okay. So the reality is that you don't go to the gym and get in shape within a day. So you've learned wonderful strategies, you've got very excited, but your muscles have still been weak. So we need to obviously beefen you up in the sense that you can actually grow your muscles so you can take the knocks that come your way. So you don't get in shape in one day, you get in shape day by day, and this is what this is about, building a resilience. You've come on the course, and in many ways it was like taking water from a fire hydrant. There's so many wonderful things that you've learned, but what we need to do is just take one bit of information, let it digest, and apply it, and then see a difference. So we just want to be applying the systems and strategies one by one tool, one strategy, one piece of information at a time, and applying it so that over a long period of time that you just get stronger and more equipped, as opposed to just bailing out after just a few weeks. So you were in the side of a ring, you were like, bring it on. You can see it, you're so amped, it's been more exciting than it's ever been, and now suddenly you go into the ring and you can easily take a big knock. And this might just discourage you, but that's not what we want. What we want is for you to have a short period of time just to rest and think. So this time here, you're going to be able to see a new reality. You can learn from any mistakes that you've made. And King Solomon, the wisest and richest man that ever lived, today he would equate to a trillionaire. He said plotting and planning leads to prosperity, but quick fixes leads to poverty. Okay, so let's break that down. He said if you plod, that's like acting. So you've got to act, but then you've got to think. Okay, so you plan or think. So you plod, you act, and then you plan and think. So what we want to do is we go back into the ring, but this time we do it more intelligently. We act, and then again we think, and eventually we're getting better and better and better based on having the courage to act, but also then the discipline and the wisdom to think and keep getting better till finally we'll eventually win. And that's the secret, is we want to keep going but more intelligently each time. A 50-year study on resilience. I'll cover this before I go into 5 strategies that I want to share with you, but the most thorough longitudinal study over 50 years on resilience showed that there were 2 key things. The number one reason for people being able to be resilient was having a worthy goal to work towards, something that they could lock on that would beat the temptation to be distracted, and this would give them the energy that they needed when all other energy was gone. And number 2, they were surrounded by a community that cared. That really is a true saying that says that there's much healing in community and there's much support as well. So you want to surround yourself with people that really care for you, that nurture you, that lift you up and want the best for you. The worst thing that you could possibly do is say nothing, to bottle up whatever you've experienced, and life can often hit you with a brick. We take emotional, physical, mental knocks all the time, and it's been psychologically proven that if you don't say anything, you bottle it up, it's the worst thing you can do. You don't want to also just run around and just share everything with everyone, but just by stating, even if, the best thinking requires a clutter-free mind, but it's also the best learning requires a clutter-free mind. So with that thought, I just want to give you 5 key strategies that can really help you be resilient and help you stay focused on achieving extraordinary success this month. Number 1, as I've said, you can just state how you're feeling. You can just say, sheesh, I'm really angry, or I'm really upset, or sheesh, I didn't know that would happen. And just by stating it, it's way more powerful than keeping it in your head, and it's just as powerful if you write it down. So if you don't feel like sharing it with anyone, just by writing it down, it gets it out in the open. Number 2, change your perspective on a situation. If you see a situation in a certain way, it can offset the dopamine circuitry and it can freak your brain out, and you actually, be on your back foot. Your brain can see something as a threat. The other day I was in the airport and I was a bit early, and my flight was delayed. And what I realized was, I thought, flip man, I'm going to be late for a meeting that I had. And then suddenly I just said, you know what, I can sit and I've got a few hours to catch up. I can look at my emails, I can do other things. And suddenly your brain can be in on that and it can work towards how your brain works, as opposed to just freaking your brain out and then suddenly on your back foot you're spinning and you're not having the most productive use of your time. So you can either live in a place that's stress free, or you can be in a really freaked out zone that's full of stress, and the choice is yours, and that's the choice you need to make mentally. Number 3, think about past success and let that fuel you. So if you think of times you've done really well, let it, let it go over in your mind over and over again, and you can just feel how it felt and know that you have been a success. It's just a matter of time before you realize the success again. Number 4, visualize achieving a new exciting goal, or basically relive or make the last goal, this recent goal that you've set, bring that more to life and make it more exciting. So just think of a new goal. We're at our creative best when we've got a problem to solve. So you need to think of something that you want to work towards, get excited about that, and get locked on. Your brain can only hold one thought at a time. So if you're thinking of the negative or something that could go wrong, you don't have the space to think of what can go right. And number 5, have the courage to act. You need to be bold. You can't just now think of the exciting things that you want to happen. You need to act. That's why Edison, he said, success is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. So you be inspired, but then you just get back, keep consistent, and keep going on. Even if it's just one step, you don't need to think about what step 10 is. You just have to think of what is the next step, and then have the courage and the discipline to do that. I want to leave you with one final thought. It's actually just a wonderful statement. It says, "It is not the critic who counts, nor the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes short again and again, because there is not effort without error." I'll say that again. There's not effort without error. So when you're making an effort, there will be error and shortcomings. But who does actually strive to do the deed, who knows the great enthusiasm, the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. So you've probably heard that before, but it's a phenomenal statement that can just encourage you to keep resilience at this time. I wish you best for the rest of the week and look forward to next week.